Hello and welcome to this Driving Digital webinar on Google Classroom. Today we're going to be taking a look at how to set up a Google Classroom to make it work best for you, some little hints and tips. So let's dive straight in. So here we are in Google Classroom. The stream is a chronological order of everything that's been posted. The classwork is where you will create assignments, create links to videos, things like that you want students to view. Just while we were on stream, the code there for students to join is there. And if we're going to people, you can also invite students on here. So it's quite a powerful tool to use, the invite students button. Type in their email address, and what happens is they stay here with their name and brackets invited at the end of it. It's quite nice to say that if they haven't engaged with some material over the course of a week, you can say, well, look, I invited you to the Google Classroom. You need to accept that invitation because that's the way I'm communicating the work with you. But it also gives you a record of when you invited them and how long they stayed invited for. So, if you were teaching a class, I'd like to think you'd have a co-teacher or someone in there to support you or someone else who was interested in what you were doing. So what I use often is the invite teacher button here. And when I invite teachers, I'm inviting anyone who comes in to support a learner. I've recently been teaching someone with a hearing impairment. And they've had a learning support assistant with them. So I've invited them as a teacher to the classroom. And I find that really useful because they can then check out any pre-learning, any homework that's been done, and they can just be kept informed a little bit of what's expected of the student too. And then the other one here is grades, which we've looked at in the previous webinar, and it just builds a nice grade book over time for you. The settings wheel here then, you can name the class, you can change the name of the class, you can give it a description, what room you're in, what subject it is, all those sorts of things. The code is there as well. Now, if you don't like the code, I personally don't like this code because it's got an M in it. Anything with an M for Mike or an N for November, I find quite difficult to read aloud to someone. So I'll be saying 26M7SR7 just causes me all sorts of problems. So I'm a big fan of resetting the code until I find one without an M, a B, a P, an L. That's got an N in, that's got to go. We could be here a while. This webinar could just be me doing this for the next 5 minutes. Let's have a look. No, it's got an N in it and an L. L, I'm not a fan of either in these. There we go. KSX564F. I think that's easy to read aloud and it stands out when students are reading it. Now in the stream then, students can post and comment. Depends what age range you're teaching, if you want students to collaborate or not. If you were teaching the lower age ranges, I probably wouldn't enable posting and commenting. Likewise with some of the older age ranges, depending on your group, you might want to disable posting and comment. So sometimes I set it as only teachers can post or comment. Classwork on the stream then show condensed notifications, attachments and details or hide notifications. Condensed is fine. Deleted items, only teachers can view deleted items. I've got it disabled on here because I just want it to go. This is the new feature. So this is Google Meet, and you can generate a Meet link, and this then becomes your Meet link for when you host your virtual classroom. And then grading at the bottom, overall grade calculation, you can select to show the grade to students, and you can add categories to it as well. So those are the class settings pages for you. Feature that's quite nice under the People tab is here. When you've got next to the student name, you can have Invite Guardians turned on. Now, it's not turned on in this domain that we're using for testing at the moment, but there's a little button here that says Invite Guardians, and what you can do it's just like it says there, email student, you can have email guardians. And once you've turned on the invite guardian summary, the guardian can choose to have a daily or a weekly summary of work you are posting to that classroom. They can't see the attachments or the work that's coming in, but they can see what is due and by when. And you can also have that email feature enabled, so you can email the guardians of your students as well whilst using Google Classroom. So that was a brief whistle-stop tour of some of the hints and tips and things we found work best in Google Classroom. We are Driving Digital. Don't forget to follow us on Twitter. Thank you.